We are a go.
STDs!
Sex TDs. Sex TDs. Anyway,
Perfect.
Brian hasn't said anything yet. Neither has Steven. Woo! There we go. Where's Brian?
Okay.
Brian is here.
There he is. So, what's up? I'm
No,
Michael.
much.
I'm
Watched
chilling.
the movie.
That's Nathanial right over there to my
We
right
did
there.
movie watch.
See, I'm not the only one on cam
Hello.
this time.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't hate me cause I'm beautiful. Anyway,
Get it off. Get it off.
we watched a movie. That's why we're here. That's why you're seeing us. You probably
We're
already
back.
read the title. Did you
Yeah,
read the
we
title?
watched the
Nathaniel, did you
movie.
read the title?
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
No,
that's it.
that's
That's this
incorrect.
one.
That's
That's
actually
right.
wrong.
Nope.
Oh,
Ow.
God.
That's
Ow.
you're completely wrong actually. You're like not even
You
close.
want the wrong one.
Anyway, we
No,
watched It
is it Sexy
Follows
Time in the
about
80s?
sex TDs.
Yeah.
Anyway,
In the
I
That was
80s?
think
meant to be an educational film,
No,
right?
not
by
the
the way,
80s.
this dude
Not the
right
80s, the
here, right
90s.
below me, that's
Not the
Jose. Right there is SpongeBob. That's Steven.
Hi,
And then
it's
the
me,
dude with
SpongeBob.
the cigarette, that's
Oh,
Brian.
Yo, because, I'm smoking.
Brian is a
He's a heavy smoker.
two
He's
packs a
kind
day.
of dying.
Yeah, he's an addict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like our main characters. Let's get into it, bro.
Yeah.
I
Anyway,
Grace
I think considering he likes this movie the most out of all of us, at least assuming what was going on while we were watching the movie, I think that the best person to give the introduction would be Steven.
Okay.
True.
It
Also, I'm going
Follows
to take it off of the list.
is a horror thriller movie. Came out in 2015. Um, it grossed $23 million worldwide with a $2 million budget.
Oh, he's got that Wikipedia up again, dude.
No, I don't. I
What?
memorized that.
Wikipedia.
I had that knowledge before I read
It
this.
rotates.
He had
Nathaniel,
notes.
shut
He had
the
notes.
fuck up.
Instead of it follow, it rotates.
And yeah. So anyway, I guess the first thing to do would be talk about how we felt about It Follows.
Super Monkey Ball.
Michael.
Sorry.
Okay, that's Super Monkey Ball.
Anyway,
correct.
sorry. Who's going first?
It's from Hush.
I'll
mean,
go
I-
first because we're doing the list.
Yeah, have Steven go first. I
We
don't
can
have
go down the
Discord.
list.
Hold
Yeah,
up.
we don't listen. There's several of us.
All right.
with some
Anyway,
choice words.
I like this movie a lot. It's not like the best movie ever, but I definitely enjoyed it. That was a good time. Suspenseful, very pretty, um, sounded good, and I liked it. And I'll go into that later, but figured I'd just give a rough synopsis. But anyway, Nathaniel, how did you feel about the movie?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. A lot of suspense, a lot of really cool elements, and kind of like a breath of fresh air with the horror genre when it came out. So it was nice. I enjoyed it.
Jose's next.
Bro, Steven, I had to like. I understood that Steven was like blatantly hurt that we were talking over the movie.
What do you
And I
mean?
was like, this man was blatantly hurt.
What do you mean by that?
I was like, this man's like legit trying to enjoy the movie, and I just can't stop. Can't stop. This is like literally the epitome of a movie that I have to talk with the boys during. Like, I derive no enjoyment watching it on my own or in silence, but only like in the context of being with my friends.
Yeah, for
do I find
context,
enjoyment.
while we were watching it, not the whole time, but for some of the time, me, Brian, and Jose were making fun of it. We were making jokes.
Dude, I mean, I understand. Like normally I'm like a big like suspense. Like I can't deal with it. But that's only when there's likable main characters. I was sitting there. I was like, I hope she dies. I hope she dies. I hope he dies. I'm glad they died. You know
Yeah,
what?
you said that a
This bad
lot.
guy.
I find that interesting
Verbally.
considering
characters.
for me the characters are so flat that I don't feel that strongly about any of them. So I'm like, damn, he hates them. Damn.
So that's a good
No, it's
segue
just-
because Brian changed his name, so now his order is higher. So Brian,
Uh-huh.
how
How
did
dare
you
you.
feel about the
Can't
movie?
yoink that.
I
He's
it
cut
was
in line.
it was
Yeah.
a cool in concept. Like overall horror. I'm glad it was made. But it's not that it felt low budget. It felt like the characters weren't there. Jose said they were extremely flat, and that's exactly how I feel. And like since the beginning, it was like just none of the characters acted like normal characters. They were like, "Oh, I'll big balls it," and then fucking get killed. It, like whatever. I'm just like, you're a dumbass, okay? Just like the girl at the beginning, I think I actually like she gave me an aneurysm. I'm like, why are you sitting on the beach? You have a car. These people talking about how this person like walks. Okay, you don't understand how long it takes for something to walk. Go across the country, do something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Just walk in circles. I kept going back to the
What if
beginning
you
of
don't want to
Zombieland.
walk
And I
in
was like,
circles?
well, then you know what? Die. It doesn't
That's
matter.
what
You
she
know that
did.
girl.
That's the
And that's
choice
what
she
she
made.
did.
She's weak.
I
She's
know.
weak.
Diagnosed with the dead.
I have diagnosed her with the stupid.
Okay, so Brian didn't like the movie. Jose,
I didn't mind the movie.
or
I
sorry,
hated the
Nathaniel.
characters.
Oh wait, no, we got.
I
Oh,
hated
Michael.
all
Sorry.
the
Yeah, we didn't
characters.
get to me.
Yeah, Michael's one.
All right, so I'll be honest. I'm gonna agree with Jose. I actually thought this movie was really boring. I was not interested in the characters at all. I didn't even think that premise was that interesting either. I don't know, like legit, just like Jose, I think that the way this movie was meant to be watched was riffing on it with the boys and laughing at how dumb it is because the like he said, the characters are super boring. I didn't give a shit about any of them. I thought every character was boring. None of them were believable to me as like real people either. Like I didn't buy it. I didn't buy the and it's not because their acting was poor because it wasn't. It was fine. Their acting wasn't bad. I just didn't believe it. I don't think they were well written. I don't know. I just thought it was boring. I legit was sitting through it. I don't know. You could see. I checked the time several times because I was waiting for the movie to be over because I was bored. Like I don't know. I legit I had I think the most fun I had in the movie was at the beginning when I was making fun of it. Like that's literally the most fun I had in the movie. I did not think it was interesting. I didn't think it was very fun. It was just kind of boring to me. Like I don't like hate the movie, but I don't love it. I don't hate it. I think it's like okay. I don't regret watching it, but I will not watch it again because I think it's really boring. I think the only way to get enjoyment out of it is like Jose said, making fun of the movie.
Yeah.
Guys, I just want you guys to know that it got a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I know. I checked on Amazon. It
I,
got like
I was like,
four and a
what?
half stars or
I
something.
decided to dress
What?
up for the film.
He did.
I literally,
I
Yeah, I
appreciate that.
noticed.
Yes.
Thank you.
I checked that halfway through the film because I was like,
This mustache
there's no
hurts.
way this thing got above a 60. 95, I'm like, what?
No, I mean like I
Well,
can I can kind of
hurts.
see why people enjoy it. I don't know. I just didn't buy it. I didn't buy
What
the
is
Really?
for
character.
Rotten Tomatoes?
I didn't
Doesn't that
buy the
just mean it's
tomatoes.
positive?
I just said I didn't buy the tomatoes, but well, it's like 4 stars on Amazon as well. So like most people that watched it enjoyed it. But I don't know.
No, it's.
I didn't find it very interesting, and I didn't buy it. I didn't buy the
I
characters.
hated
I don't
all
know.
the characters. My favorite
I didn't
character
hate
was
them
the
like
killer.
Jose
I was
said. I
cheering
didn't
for them.
hate the
Yeah.
characters. I just don't
I'm
feel
like, how
any
can I
type of way
feel?
towards them. They're just kind of flat
I'm
to
like, how
me.
can I be?
There's
How can I be
one
passionate
character
about
I
this movie?
kind of liked. I kind of liked Paul. I was I was hoping
Paul.
Paul wouldn't die, but the whole time I was like, oh, he's gonna be the martyr guy. He's gonna be like, I'll fuck her because I want her to not die, and he did.
I literally, that's how
It's
I thought
exactly
it
what
was
I
gonna
thought was
happen.
gonna
I was just
happen.
like, okay,
Like I don't know, like the
bye.
movie
Guess what happened?
the movie for me was just like too predictable. Like there's nothing inherently wrong with predictability, but I think like I saw exactly how this movie was going to go from the very beginning. I knew exactly what was going to happen. Like nothing in the movie surprised me at all, you know?
I'm not that smart, but I just didn't care about what did happen.
Mm.
But it's not like I'm not smart enough to know what was gonna happen, but I just didn't care.
I don't know, like I saw Paul, I'm like, oh, okay, he
He's
has a
gonna die.
crush on her, he
He's gonna
likes
die.
her,
Yeah.
he's gonna fuck her at some point so that he gets it and she doesn't. And then
To
I
be
saw the
fair,
way that Greg was looking at her, and I'm like, oh, they might have had a thing before. He's gonna fuck her because he doesn't believe her. He's gonna die. Like I knew it. I knew from the very beginning exactly what was gonna happen. So
to
I
be
don't like
fair,
I thought
nothing
part
that
was
of the
scene
fun
was
to
movie
kind of
me.
died.
funny.
I mean, to be fair, that's like supposed to be the subtext of it, so that it's
Well,
like you can
I'm
understand
sure.
the
No,
relationship.
yeah, like I'm saying, like it's not like predictability isn't inherently a bad thing.
Hmm.
It's just nothing was like I didn't get there to
When you're
me
able to predict
because
something,
of
it's more
that there was
boring.
no suspense. This movie was not suspenseful to me at all because of that. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like a suspenseful movie, if you know how a suspense movie is gonna go, there's no suspense because there's no stakes. You know what's gonna happen. You know?
I mean, didn't know exactly what was gonna happen.
I'm like not exactly, but I knew it was gonna happen. Like the one thing that kind of surprised me was that Paul shot Yara in the leg and he didn't apologize. I
That
was
was
like,
pretty odd.
why didn't you apologize? I didn't get to
Dude,
hear it.
I literally don't even think that he noticed. I literally think he was
I
too
literally, yeah,
focused
I
on
like
trying to kill
literally
Nathaniel.
don't think he noticed.
Yeah.
And like I
And
don't
then
like,
like after they look in the pool and there's all the blood, he's like, "Wait a minute. Why are you bleeding? What happened?"
yeah,
Well,
yeah, exactly. Like and like also she didn't care, but I mean she gets it obviously, you know. But like I don't know, like I don't know. I just didn't enjoy. I didn't find any enjoyment out of this movie. I just don't think it by itself is entertaining. I think, like Jose said, the best way to enjoy it is making fun of it with friends. Because I just don't think it's that
I
good.
Yo,
there's a couple things in the movie I do want to talk about.
yo, hold up,
I mean,
Brian. Before
Steven
you
has
say that,
Okay,
before
okay,
you say
Steven.
that,
you know, Jose,
Yeah, let Jose go. But Steven has shit to say. He likes the movie.
yup, yup.
out of the three guys in the movie,
Mhm.
Paul was the one who did not coerce the girl into sex.
Yeah,
I
He
think,
kind
to
of
be
did.
fair.
he kinda did, but he also was like he legit wanted to help, you know? The
Yeah.
first dude wanted to
Mm,
give her the problem. Second
yeah.
dude didn't believe her, he just wanted to fuck her. And the
Mm,
third dude, Paul, he was like, I know this is real. She's not lying. I want her to not have to deal with this. You know what I mean?
mm,
He
yeah.
was that's why I said he's the martyr cuz he did the sacrifice, you know?
Mm,
But yeah, I don't know.
I think I would have liked the ending more if Paul had sex with her and then mysteriously disappeared. Like he skipped town.
That's actually
I think
kind of that
I
is more so what I thought was going to happen. I thought he was going to leave.
I
I
don't
didn't
think he
think he was
would
going to
have.
I
stick
was
around.
hoping. I thought Paul as a character was like, oh, you know, childhood friend. Oh, they kiss, whatever. You know, they're gonna fuck me up, right? That's just how it's gonna go.
Yeah.
They're going to do the sex, and I was like, and then what's probably gonna happen is he's gonna be like, okay, I take this on my shoulders. I'm gonna go and just continue to fight this thing. But now they're walking hand in hand at the end. I'm like, you guys are dumb. You guys are
I don't know.
dumb. I did think the pool scene was cool though.
The
I'll
pool
talk
scene,
about that
I
more
like the pool
extensively
scene.
later.
Yeah. Anyway,
Steven, what did you think?
I think we
Or
should
actually,
let's.
Jose, what did you think about the pool scene, or whatever you wanted to say before?
I thought
I mean, I already. This
he already said his
my
thing. It's
thoughts
about the
on it.
guys. I think,
Oh yeah.
I think since we had this talk about all the shit that we didn't like about it so far, we haven't even really went into that, but we like kind of covered it. Let's ask Nathaniel and Steven why they kind of liked it.
Thing.
Huh?
Nathaniel, why
Uh,
did you kind of like it?
I enjoyed the movie. Like even if because I've seen it before. I saw the ending, but when I first saw it, I thought it was just a fine story. The music really helped get it over as well,
Mm,
especially because a lot of John Carpenter
I did like some
s
of the music.
themes
Yeah, I did like some
were
of the music.
in some like music hits. I was like, that's very like John Carpenter. So I was looking at it, and Disaster Piece did the music, and they're like, yeah, we based some of the music on John Carpenter
Hmm.
and like the Halloween franchise. If you hear it, there's like a lot of Halloween like theme elements in it, especially how he hits certain notes.
Hmm.
I don't know, like certain scenes, I just enjoyed it. I found it funny, especially what was his name, Jerry or Gary, the one who
Greg,
died, who just wanted to have
Greg.
sex.
Greg.
Greg, I enjoyed I enjoyed the lead up to his death because I found it funny. You never really see like the behind the scenes of how the monster gets in the house. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Usually in like a horror movie, the monster's just in the house. Or like say a Jason movie, Jason, you see Jason run, he breaks through the window.
actually.
This one, you see the creature pick up a rock and was like, "Frick this window!" It just
Yeah, that
crawled
was
in.
cool.
I like, thought it was dope. But
Mm,
I don't know. I think the movie did good build up the suspense and tension. Like for me, I wasn't that suspended because like how also the creature walks. The creature walked like it was like not human.
Mm.
So when there were actually people that were human walking, they're like, "What is that? Is that a human?" I'm like, "No, that's like a girl with headphones, like jamming out to some tunes. Like I can tell that's not
It's
the
like
monster."
it walked a very specific way. Yeah.
It walked. Yeah, and I thought that was really cool. I don't know. I thought it was a cool concept, and it paid off pretty well. The characters, for me, I will agree. The characters are more like whatever. I don't care. Like
They're just kind of like
yeah.
set pieces. They don't feel like people to me.
Yeah. I think I fall in love more with the concept. Like
Hmm.
the monster represents like STD and some character decisions I was like, that's so stupid. I did not like some character decisions, and I know it was for the movie to make the movie horrific, but I'm over here being like, all right, you're sitting at the beach with your friends. You're not telling me you're gonna look over, like look behind you once. She acted like she
I,
never could never look behind her. I'm like,
I
you gotta look
know,
behind you.
I know.
You know this thing's on you. And then when Gary, the door was broke, the bottom door was broken. Gary's like, hey, you okay? And then he ran off, and then she starts crawling close to the door. I'm like, okay, I get it. It's for a movie. You're trying to scare me, but come on now.
Dude,
You're gonna get closer to the door.
I was like, why is she crawling close all the time?
Yeah.
Like it's chasing you. It'll show up. You don't gotta wait for it. It'll come. You know?
Yeah, it's gonna come. It's gonna come. Like you don't. Yeah, I don't like when she used to always like walk closer to. Like, don't do it. But other than that, I mean, I thought it was a cool story. Characters were, and the creature was cool. The monster was cool. I don't think I need to know how the monster kills its prey. I don't think I need to know
We
that.
saw
It
that.
was
It
cool.
fucks you
Yeah,
kinda and
Yeah,
you then you die.
it was
yeah.
cool knowing like not knowing. It's more like it adds that imagination, which can
Mm,
be more horrifying.
yeah.
But and I like how it just walks towards you. That was like a cool concept. It just walks because that's
Hmm.
horrifying. You're constantly paranoid, and
Hmm.
I enjoyed it. I think
I
I
mean,
enjoyed it. I think it was most of the story was cool.
it's literally the concept of the snail that is always
Yeah.
chasing you, and it's a snail, but if it catches you, you'll die. They literally took that concept and said, let's make it about sex. You know what
Or
I
did
mean?
the snail come first? What concept? I think the
No, the
snail.
snail.
I'm
That's what I'm
sorry, the
saying.
snail came after.
I thought the snail came first.
I heard that on a Rooster Teeth podcast, like in like 2016,
I don't know.
or
I've
maybe it was
heard of it
20
before,
around that
but
time.
that's what I'm saying. It's the
Chicken or the
same
egg?
concept.
Yeah,
It's the same
both gone.
concept.
Yeah.
I don't care which one came first. It's not important. You know what I mean? But it's basically the same concept, but it's about sex. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Also, Steve.
Um, yeah, I liked this movie. I
Oh
thought
my
the
god.
Stick to your guns, dude.
I thought the cinema. What am I doing, dude? I liked the cinematography was really cool. I really liked how they used long shots that would like pan over like really slowly. One of my favorite scenes is the one where they go to the high school to see where like the dude to like get the dude's name because they
Yeah.
found out what high school he goes to, and like the entire shot is like the camera in the middle of the hallway and it's like spinning like slowly, and at first we see like a girl like really far away like walking. It's like okay, whatever, like out in the field, but there's like a bunch of people in the field but they're all like static, and then the camera pans and then we see like our like main character and like a guy like walk in, and then like the camera goes all the way around and then we turn around and then like we turn back to the window and then the girl's like a lot closer, and then we turn back and then she's like really close, and then we turn back to like the principal's office and then the girl and the guy are like in there. I thought that was pretty suspenseful and a pretty creative way to like do that shot. Um, and there's like a lot of stuff like that where it's not just like shot reverse shot, like oh there it is. There's like a lot of like long shots where they pan, um, and I don't know, differences in height where it's not just like the characters like eyesight. Um, thought that that was really cool. I thought the music was really good. It was like I mean, the movie is like an homage to like, like 80s like thrillers. So it was kind of cool to hear like a soundtrack that was like 80s-ish, but also you could tell that it was modern. Like it was a new song, but it sounded like it like was made with like 80s synths. And I thought that it like added to like the drama a lot, where it was like I don't know, like eerie and like reflective. I like that a lot. Um, I thought that the use of like colors was really cool. Like we really frequently like got the color like blue, and there was like some orange and pink, and those things like meant things. I don't know. And then at the end they're wearing like white, like I don't know if you noticed, but like the girl was wearing like a white dress and the guy had like a white shirt. It's like a thing for like purity or whatever. I liked that. Um I liked okay, so this is like I'm gonna have to like explain a little here, but when the movie starts, Jay is like in like a pool, right? And they keep like going back to these like bodies of water, like the other pool, and like the ocean, and like it rains, um, and it's kind of like a
Baptized.
yeah, like a visual motif to like show like some sort of like purity or like being like baptized, yeah, especially like at the end when she goes in the pool and then she comes out and then there's like the blood. Um, but like after every time she has sex, like the the like pure pool in her backyard changes. Like the first time she doesn't get in the pool again, so there's like leaves all over it. So then like the pool is kind of like yucky. And then like later on, like after she has sex in the hospital, and then I think this is after she
Yeah,
like
the
goes
pool's like
on the boat.
broken.
Yeah, it's like destroyed. And like you can see like in like the pictures like on her like nightstand, like she's like always loved swimming. And like this is like something that's like near and dear to her like since childhood, but it's like destroyed now and like gone. She's like no longer has that innocence. I liked that the like the motif of bodies of water. Um I really liked how at the end the like pool like became red, so then that was like I don't know, like another I guess if you want to like connect it to like a woman's period, it's like the transition from like childhood to like adulthood, I guess. Maybe because it's definitely a transitionary period in her life of like, oh my god, I'm going to die to like maybe not though.
Yeah.
Um And then also, I don't know if you noticed, but the first person who she's walking her while she's at school is her grandma, because in the background you can see her with her grandparents. And then the last person who she sees at the pool is her father. Um, that's a thing. Also, Gary's like mother killed him, and there's like an Oedipus thing there. And then also, if her dad were to kill her, then that's like another, I don't know, Oedipus type deal.
Was that her father?
Yes,
Yeah,
in
the
the
last
pool.
person was her father.
Mhm.
Okay, I don't remember seeing her father.
They showed a
He
picture
was in,
frame of it.
yeah,
Of
a
him.
couple times.
Oh, that's why they kept going back to the picture frame. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Um,
was confused. Like every time I went to the picture frame, I was like looking for differences in the picture frame, and I was like,
Nah, it's just showing you what her dad looks like.
yeah.
okay.
Um, and then there's like a few times where there's like people walking in the background. I think that's kind of cool how like they give you like moments where like you have to like I don't know, do the same thing that she does, where like you have to like look around and also like think, um, or like analyze. Uh, and then also in the wiki page, the director talks about how like about like the inevitability of like death, like once you, because like the movie is like a they use the word parable about like AIDS and like STDs. It's like once you like get it,
Yeah.
like your death is inevitable, like you will die. But like through like distractions like sex, like you can like push death away like a little bit and like enjoy your life so that you can like ignore the fact that like oh I'm still going to die like very soon, like I can't escape it, but I can like
Yeah. It was like
push
the
it
guy
away.
at the beginning, when they were in the theater, I guess. And
Hmm.
she was talking to him about, I forget exactly what she said, but they were talking about something like that, or maybe they weren't in the theater, but she was talking to the guy who gave it to her, about how how something, and he talked about how life,
The kid
um
talked about the kid.
what
Like he talked
what,
Yeah,
about
what
the kid and how the kid had the whole life ahead.
yeah,
yeah, oh yeah, that's what it was.
the guy did
Yeah,
know it.
he was talking about, yeah, and I was just like, okay. I mean, obviously, going into this movie, I knew he was going to be the one to pass it to her, so it's
Hmm.
like kind of like that, like, oh, when you're at death's door, or when it's so uncertain and your death is near and you kind of know that, you kind of wish to be back at a place where you weren't, like simpler
Hmm.
times, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
Good.
I when he said that at the beginning, that was something I was like, oh, that's cool. Like,
Also, like,
people who are gonna die are like wishing they wouldn't. It's like a very human thing to feel.
mhm. like kind of along with that, that book that their friend was reading with the glasses, like almost every time she like read from that book, it was like something that was directly applicable to this like idea of like I guess you could call it like having AIDS, or like also like what they were going through about
Hmm.
like I don't know, the like the realization of like death approaching or whatever. Um, and so that was like I don't know. Like you hear her reading, it's like, oh, okay, whatever. But then like if you like pay attention to it, it like is about, like what like they're going through, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah.
That kind of I said before, it's literally just because I didn't buy it. I didn't buy the world. Whenever I saw shit like that, like I heard her reading, I saw like the water and shit. Like my head, because I didn't care, was like, oh, they're trying to do something deep, but I don't buy it, so I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Because
Can I
like,
ask what buy it means?
like,
Just out of sheer curiosity.
You didn't care about the
s-
characters, or
so,
I was gonna say
I
the same
have
thing
to,
as like
I
Michael,
have to
actually.
care about
Okay.
the characters and about
Mhm.
the world. A
Mhm.
movie's job is to make me buy into the world so I care about its characters. I did not buy it. I
Mhm.
did not care. So whenever they did
Can I?
something like that, like whenever they showed the water motifs or they had Yara like reading out of the shit, I literally rolled my eyes every time just because I didn't care.
It's like this,
Yeah, to
Steven. He
insert
didn't ante
my
run, so he didn't have any stakes.
Yeah.
I was
So he
like
didn't care
to elaborate
any.
on that. Like the first like 5 or 10 minutes, you could say, is like the period of the movie where you, as a viewer, like invest yourself into the movie, like
Mhm.
the paying into the movie period.
Mhm.
And Michael and me did not buy into the movie during that period. So once the movie actually tried to do stuff, we were like gone. We were like gone for the whole movie
Yeah, it's just like
because
I
it's
don't
Yeah.
like
care.
we didn't hop on board
Yeah.
for what the movie wanted.
Because I
We
always
never got on it.
I talk to Nathaniel about this all the time, how like I think the most important thing in anything I consume is about world building. It's about making me believe in the characters, believe in the world, thinking it's real. And that's how I determine if I like something or not. If you can convince me to care about, because you can't just show me a character and say care about that character. You know what I mean? You have to convince me to care about that character. And this movie didn't convince me to care about anything because I didn't really like anyone in the movie that much. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So like I didn't care. So whenever they tried to say something deep, I'm not trying to discredit like if you liked it or not. Because if you liked it, that's awesome. I wish I liked it. I just didn't. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So like I don't know. Like I just and I always say I didn't buy it. That's what I mean by I didn't buy it. Is like you didn't do a good enough job of convincing me. So because of that, I don't enjoy it. You know what I mean? Because like if I don't care about your
Yeah.
characters, why do I care about anything else?
Mhm.
You know?
Like for example, Steven,
Mhm.
I thought it was very interesting that you explained the water motif, but 80% of the time you were explaining that, I was thinking, I don't believe that because I don't think this movie is competent enough to make that like valid.
I also
Like
didn't think that the movie was. I kind of agree with Jose on that.
I almost think you're reading deeply into it when
Yeah,
it's
like
not
I
there
almost
No,
because
think
I
you're
just
reading too
literally
into
don't
I've
believe that.
seen an excerpt of like the director like talking
it.
about like
Yeah.
it's like it was like a
Yeah,
decision that was made,
No,
like
yeah, like
whether it
yeah,
came
I'm
across.
saying he can believe that, but I don't think the movie's good enough that I think that's like accurate. I'm like, yeah, like sure, use symbolism. I still don't believe it. I don't believe
What do
like
you mean
you can have
accurate?
the intent,
Do you mean like it didn't like come across or it didn't like hit or like?
like okay, so I've stated that we didn't like buy into the movie,
Mhm.
but in addition to that, it's like you like the movie. So when you're presented with the symbolism, you're like, it's cool that it could mean this and that. But I don't think the movie's competently made. So even though the director can have that symbolism, I think the presentation of it is like sloppy, and I just think it's like a child trying to tackle mature subjects or like be good.
Mhm.
Like I'm seeing your symbolism, and I'm just not interpreting it as like. I mean, this is like elitist sounding, but like I just don't even like. I'm like, okay, you tried.
Yeah. Like I believe you. I completely believe you that those motifs are there. I just didn't care because I
and
like
that's
the movie didn't sufficiently convince me, you know.
and I can agree on like the characters may be dull, but I actually think the movie did great with showing symbolism like that. I think the imagery was really good.
Yeah.
Like and even some of the dialogue, like when the guy was like, "I want to be that kid." I first thought of it like, "Oh, it's the idea of innocence. You want to reclaim your
Yeah,
innocence."
I got
Like
that.
when she was playing with the leaves on her head, I'm like, "Oh, that's a cool image right there." Because in a way, like that's what kids do. When we were kids, we used to always like mess with leaves. I'm like, "That's
And the
her."
grass like on her leg.
Like
Hmm.
yeah, the grassy
Oh, and
leg, like
also
that's
forgot to
the
say
that's innocence.
one of the places she also runs to is like a
A park.
like a yeah like a park like a swing
Yeah,
set
Yeah,
and
she
like
ran to a
that's where
swing
like she
set.
feels safe like in her childhood.
Hmm. But yeah,
yeah, I can see like yeah, I think the characters may be dull, but I think the imagery and the symbolism is perfect. I think they did really good with that.
Hmm.
yeah,
In my my opinion
Well,
with
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
And
I'm not,
also
I'm
the
not saying
whole
that
the
like
Halloween.
they didn't.
Hmm?
I'm just saying that I don't know. Like if you don't
I am.
like to me first and foremost, if you I don't believe your world, I don't believe your characters. Anything else you're trying to do, I don't care.
Yeah, you just don't care.
Because if
But
your
like that's
if your
yeah.
story and character don't intrigue me, sure you can try and do other shit. But if I don't care about what should come first and foremost, at least in my mind, that's what should come first. Then I don't care about anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like you're just like all right, whatever. Like do your
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. I'm not saying that the
Uh,
symbolism was bad or anything. I know Jose is, but I'm not just because I don't know. Like I don't care.
yeah. Also, I like the Halloween. They did another Halloween homage, not with just with the music,
Hmm.
but they did an homage because it's the scene where she's in class. That's a famous Halloween scene because of Halloween. That's what Laurie Strode when she's like listening to the teacher. She looks out the window and Michael Myers is there staring at her. The whole image with her in the classroom and she looked out the window and it was a person walking. I'm like, all right, I see the Halloween imagery, the homage you played. I like
Hmm.
it. I
Hmm.
respect it. That's a cool it's like they pay respects to the classics of suspense,
Yeah, yeah.
which is really good. I like that.
So that actually, Nathaniel, that might be the reason why I was definitely cheering for the ghost or whatever, much more than the characters. So maybe not famously, but I've always been one to cheer for Michael Myers in
Mm-hmm.
all the Halloween films, even like this
Yeah.
newest one. I was just like, yeah, get him,
You
get
good?
him, get him.
You cheer for the
Right?
monster. Yeah.
I was cheering for the monster and Michael Myers, and obviously in this one because there's several things that I find wrong with the movie, um,
Mhm.
that I think are just kind of pulled me out of it, I guess, or made unconvinced me, made me not feel convinced by the world, in the
Like
same
walking
way that
closer to a broken
Jose.
door. Got it.
What?
Like walking closer to a broken door when you know there's a thing outside. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, well, not even just that. So first off, yes, the main characters are absolutely they're stupid.
Hmm.
Also, some of them are not necessary. The, like, what the actual hell is Vanya? Not Vanya. Uh, Vanya's from a good TV show.
What?
What?
No, Vea, the chick reading the book is
Yara.
like Yara. That's her name. She most forgettable character in this entire thing. What was the point of her? Okay, Paul was there because he's the love interest. You know,
I
he's
actually
just
did
supposed to
forget
assist you.
that she was in most of the movie. I'm
The
not gonna
younger
lie.
sister was there. Okay, Yara was there for two things. Okay, I didn't maybe three things actually. She was supposed to read the book, but I forgot even about the book. Okay, first thing I remember her for is she was the one who was like, "Hey, come out in the water," and that was like the looking around and everything. I thought that's what was gonna. The reason I paid attention to that was because I thought she was gonna get up and look behind her and realize there's a person behind her. Right? I thought that's what was gonna save her. Didn't save her. She actually was just her sister seeing that her hair was floating. Um, and then the second thing was she got shot in the leg. Um, that's
You didn't notice the
completely
fart? You didn't notice the fart she did?
what?
Yeah. All right.
Shut
I'm just
up.
saying.
Only because you guys replayed that scene like three times. Okay,
Because
Mhm.
that
the
was
first
literally
time you
she
guys
was.
missed it.
She had no other. She wasn't anything else. Okay, Paul was the martyr. What's his face was there before to get killed. Okay, the younger sister was the younger sister because, well, I mean, younger sister, familial bonds, all that stuff. The younger sister was like in her older sister's. They have like a life experience shared together. I don't even know what this other character was doing. I don't know what the Yara was doing there. I think that she was a completely unnecessary character, and the movie actually would have been better if they just removed her and passed off some of her roles to the sister. I really think it would have been better. Um, Also, our main character. Um, I hate how the entire movie. Actually, no. What I did like was the pool scene, and the reason that is because they tried to do something kind of to go after the monster, to stop the monster. Because you got to remember, at the beginning of the movie, straight up, the guy who gives it to her breaks it down for her. He straps it to a wheelchair and says, "Hey, see that thing? Okay, you don't need to learn. There's a lot in a lot of movies. There's like a learning phase to the monster. You got to learn how the monster works, what the monster does, why the monster does it, how you got this monster to come after you, right? That's straight up the first 5 minutes of this film. It's like, hey, here's the monster. Here's how you got the monster. I'm sorry, I'm not a bad person. I just don't want to die. Okay. And the next thing is that here's what the monster does, and here's how you can avoid it. Okay. Good luck with your life. And you know what she does? She's like, no, I don't want to pass it off to anybody else. Okay. And then they go on a witch hunt for him to find him again because nobody believes her. They don't focus on her. She doesn't try to Laurie Strode her way out. Laurie Strode, one of the best female characters in like horror cinema or even modern cinema. I love Laurie Strode. And this main character was like anti Laurie Strode. All she did was freak out and like scream things and break down mentally and all this stuff. And I'm just like, you're stupid. You're a stupid character. You're useless. You don't do anything, and you literally deserve to die. Same thing with Yara or whatever. She was super annoying. I think it was the eating scene at the end actually just ticked me off. I think that's what it is, and that's why I hate Yara so much. Oh, that was the other thing she was good for, chewing and being really annoying. Um, but no, our main character, lady, she did literally nothing throughout the entire film, and I believe she should have died because of it. The only thing they ever actually tried to stop the monster with was with the pool thing. And I actually found that to be a really cool scene because going back to the beginning, Jose's like, why?
What up, Jose?
He's not even
Going back
bothered.
no, he's not. I'm just ranting, dog. Okay,
Go ahead.
going back to the beginning, the guy who gave it to her was straight up like, "Hey, remember, this thing's smart. It's not dumb." Okay, and then and then them trying to like electrocute it, it didn't even like hop in the water. She was like, it's just standing there. So it was like taking it in and started throwing stuff in the water at her. I thought that was a really cool scene to kind of show the intellect of the monster. And maybe I like that scene because it was the monster. But yeah, so those are my big problems with the movie. Useless characters, just like all around. That was the biggest turnoff for me on this film.
What if what
Yeah.
she had done instead is that she had tried to stop the monster by finding Jeff, kidnapping him, letting the monster kill her, then the monster kills Jeff so that he can try and stop it
Well,
at the source. What if they
I
did
was
that?
wondering 'cause
I feel like that'd be
something
kind
they
of
never
cool.
tackled. I was wondering is what happens if you pass it to somebody and then kill them and the monster doesn't kill them, or maybe you kill the person before you. Does it then like maybe you're cut off from the line? They never explained that type of stuff. They never explained that how the curse
Uh,
would work in that fashion. It was just her running. There was no critical thinking there
I
up until
wait.
the
So you're
pool scene,
saying
obviously.
if the person before her died by like say like got hit by a car, would
It
the
got
monster just
killed.
leave him alone?
I feel like it would
Yeah,
still go
or would
after her. It
Yeah.
would just after her, it would go to the person that was
Yeah.
before them.
I think it's
yeah
like
maybe
it's a
I don't know.
curse. No
Yeah,
matter what, it's
it's
gonna
a
come after
curse.
you.
Yeah.
So the person
Yeah.
died like of natural causes. Well, it's now basically on the list. The monster's like, all right, you're off my list. I'm gonna go after you now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but it was like obviously it kills them through sex by like sucking their energy or something.
It sucks your
I don't
energy
know.
out your dick.
Yeah, like a
But
succubus or something
for this
stupid.
movie, I don't think that was important to know. Like, well, if I kill the person before me by natural causes, what would
Yeah,
happen? I
I
don't think that
I
was
feel
more.
like
I don't
that
think that's
I feel like
necessary.
exactly how the curse worked wasn't important.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with
I
Nathaniel
just
on that. I don't
it
think
was a
that was
lack of
important.
critical thinking.
I wouldn't even say. I don't think you need to go that deep with. Like I said, I don't think it's important. You know,
Mm-hmm.
in that way, I think it's like the creatures. It's this force, like this wild force that once you're marked, you're on the list. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But in a way, like Michael Myers, it's pure evil. You don't got
Mhm.
to be like, but what? It's that's the reason it's so scary. There's no
Also,
there's no making it deal with it. There's no getting into the head of it. It's a force, and when
Mhm.
yep.
that force sees you, wants you, it's coming after you. I think that's what makes it so scary.
Mm-hmm. I think would you call it an homage to? I wouldn't necessarily, but when she shot it in the neck and it fell down and got back up, I was
Like
just
Um,
a Michael Myers
oh,
so much.
like a Michael Myers kind of thing, where he gets shot and then he gets back up and you're like, oh, okay, so this thing can't die.
what would have been an homage to slashers is if when she gets close to the pool, the thing jumps out one last time, because that's usually all slasher movies.
I
The
thought
monster
that's
has
Yeah.
one last
I
jump.
thought that's what was gonna happen.
Hmm. Yeah, no. So the
I don't
I
know.
don't
Like
think
watching the movie,
anybody
I
else
could.
would get
Hmm?
this reference, but
mhm.
Brian's the type of guy who would hate Shinji from Neon Genesis Evangelion because
I
he's
actually do hate
14.
Shinji.
He's 14 and doesn't want to get in a robot and fight evil space aliens. Brian's the kind of
Actually, no.
guy who would be like, "Why is this 14-year-old not gonna fucking try and save the human race? Like, what the fuck? Duh."
Okay. Also, main character was like 19, dog. I'm fairly. There's a difference between a 14-year-old kid. Llisten, sometimes
Bro,
you see the
19
14-year-old kid,
fighting
and you're
an
like, okay, I
evil
understand.
spirit force, bro.
Dude, I was fighting spirit forces at 17. I don't want to hear it. Okay.
Uh, Steven,
Uh-huh.
what did you think of the characters? I want your. What did you think?
I thought that was a pretty valid criticism. I think they were pretty flat. I think they're the main character especially is like inactive approach to the monster, I think it served the purposes of the story to explore ideas of like impending doom and like isolation and like
Helplessness.
helplessness, like forced maturity. And then I think at the end, after she like had like reconciled with all of those ideas, then she was like, "Nope, I'm either gonna die or I'm gonna kill it." Like, there's no that those are the two options. Um, but I do think that none of the characters, in a weird way, like Greg had the most characterization because like we know who he is, like
Mhm.
more so than anyone. Actually, I
Yeah.
guess Greg and Paul, um, I think they were pretty well established. Um, which is like I know more about them than the main character, which is kind of weird. Like I know she likes to swim and that her dad is dead and her mom is a drunk, but
Hmm.
that's
Wait, her
nothing
dad's
about
dead?
her.
I mean, he's
Yeah.
he's
Another thing
absent
that
at
was in the
least.
movie was that her dad is dead.
Okay. I
Her
think I
mom seemed to be like out of it.
they show
I
like
forget.
his eulogy or whatever.
I
Like
figured he was just absent.
Absent,
I
what have you. He's not in the picture,
yeah
is what I'm saying.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Missed that part. I
Yeah,
obviously
I was gonna say,
I definitely tuned
Well, I
out by
figured
the
Jose,
since we
end.
never,
Not
I
gonna
figured
lie.
since
Jose,
we
you,
never saw him. So
Jose, you said that like in the first 10 minutes of like a movie, it like either like grabs your attention or not. You guys were like talking through it. I'm not gonna say that like if you didn't, you would love the movie, but like that's
Nah, I knew you
another
were gonna say that.
element of
I
it.
knew you were gonna say that.
no,
Yeah, I mean, I
I
don't really.
legitimately tried, and I was like, this is no,
Sure.
because like we
Okay.
were quiet for like a majority of the movie, and the
Okay.
whole time we were quiet, I
I'm like,
kept
look,
checking the time because I was bored.
Steven. I know it may frustrate you, but
It's
literally
not
nothing will
No,
phase me.
the.
I do get it.
I
I
don't
do
have
You
get it.
I don't have
you think
any
I didn't
problem
give it a
with you
chance,
guys.
but
No, I
I've told you that I've
no,
already like been through this
no.
movie before.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like Jose, like I knew you weren't gonna like the movie because you didn't like it before. It's not gonna change your
Yeah,
mind. But it was just the fact that like I don't know, like I felt like it wasn't given like a chance because like the whole time Brian and
it's
it
it's
was
weird
like,
because I guess
oh,
we
they're
didn't
gonna do
like talk
this.
about
Oh,
it
it's gonna be like this.
beforehand. The thing is that maybe this is less with Brian, but we didn't like really talk about it beforehand. But literally, me talking about the movie was giving it because, like
Was
I
what?
said at the start, that was me giving it a chance. Because, like I said at the start, the only way I can enjoy this movie is if I talk with other people. If I don't talk, literally nothing, zero chances. At least chatting, I was like, this is the enjoyment I'm getting from this movie. Is that it's at least a for me.
Hmm.
So in the context of the podcast, it may seem like I'm not giving an opportunity, but as personally as someone who has already seen it, I'm like,
Hmm.
this was me finding something to enjoy about the movie,
Yeah, I don't know. You can
which
ask
was with
Nathaniel.
the
I
girls.
like some movies I talk through all the time, and I
Yeah,
still love them.
I did feel bad for the girl in the beginning of this movie because the movie started off with people riffing on. I'm like, oh no, don't start riffing with this. It's just come on now. I'm like, don't start
I
riffing
was
off because I can feel the energy. I was like, oh, they're riffing off on this movie. So I can see where Steven's coming from, and I can
No,
also see where
yeah,
Jose's
I
coming
see
from. I
where
can
he's
see where both
coming
are coming
from, but also like I don't know, like Nathaniel knows. I'll talk through movies sometimes just because like if I get the feeling from the beginning that I'm gonna get nothing from this movie, which I did, I immediately off the bat I was like, oh, I know exactly how this scene at least is gonna go. So I still watched it, but I was like going along with the riffing because I was like, I know how this is gonna go. She's gonna die, you know.
oh yeah.
from.
And like I don't know, like I talk through movies like all the time, even it like, but that doesn't mean I'm not giving it a chance. Like I did, I tried to legitimately like the movie. I just didn't like it. Because again, like you said, like the characters are flat, but you say that goes towards the movie. But if a character is flat, I don't care. Because to
It's
me,
still to its
characters are,
detriment for
yeah,
sure.
like I think that's a bad thing. And I think characters are like the most important things in movies and in media. If you have a
I would,
boring character, I don't give a shit about anything else. If your character's boring to me, you know?
I think this whole the biggest like pro of this movie would be the imagery and the story. because that's
Mm.
like a the story's a fresh breath there, and the imagery's perfect. It's just the characters. It's hard. I can understand where it's hard to follow because the
It was
characters are
just
just
hard
like
to. Yeah, I was like, dude, these characters are like I legitimately think they were bad. I don't even think
because
they
if
were.
you
I think they were
No,
bad.
no,
I
they were
think they
if
were
you
terrible. I
cared about
poorly
the
written.
characters,
Yeah,
you would be put in a position with them. So when you
yeah,
see someone walking, you probably be like, "Oh, frick, get out of there."
yeah.
But when you don't care, you just don't
Like
care.
this was a
Yeah,
movie that like I don't know. Like to me, this like Jose said, like this is a movie that you're supposed to like talk through just because the characters are bad. Like I don't care. Like to me, I you can't. To me, a suspense movie is all about the characters. I have to feel for your characters. I have to like care about I have to care about what happens to them. I have to want them to not die. If you're a suspense film and you have bad characters, why am I going to feel suspense if I don't give a shit if any of these people die? You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to like talk down and say this is a shitty movie. I'm just saying like I think these are
You're not
legitimate
invested.
problems and this is why I don't like it. And like I did give it a chance. I legitimately gave it a chance. I just legitimately think the characters were horrible and so the movie is boring and I don't give a shit. You know what I mean?
Mm.
That's exactly how I feel.
Like I'm not
I
trying
think
to
all the
like
main
talk down on the
characters.
movie because I hate
It
shitting on stuff.
no, it I have no problem with like criticisms of the
I have a
movie
problem.
because like sure it like has like issues. It just kind of felt like I was the only one like watching it and like trying to like I don't
I
know.
was with you, brother. I
And then
was
I
with
felt like the whole time like other people were not trying I don't know to
I
invest
felt
in
that
the movie.
disconnect from the beginning because I noticed you're the only one who was muted, and it
Yep.
wasn't that I wasn't trying to watch the movie, but I was trying to watch the movie in a different way than you were,
I
and I noticed that from the start because you
I
were actually trying to make this like every other movie you'd watched or muted and joined the movie, and I was like,
mm.
oh,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think
know,
that's what it is mostly. Is because like last time we watched like Zodiac and like we didn't do that like
yeah,
at all.
I
Like
mean,
but
Zodiac's
maybe
what?
when we took a
a
break.
totally different kind of movie though.
I I
And
guess,
also
but
even
I
has better
still feel
characters.
even
like
for all our movies, we've always stayed quiet. That's why I was
yeah,
quiet during
like
watching
even
this
during
too. And
like
I noticed I
Tarzan,
was like,
we like weren't really like
yeah, when you guys are talking, I'm like, man, what makes this movie so different? Because you guys are really like for Nacho Libre, it's different because the comedy you're supposed to be like,
Yeah, you're
if it's like
but
a
supposed to.
comedy, it makes sense.
all
Yeah.
the other movies we were quiet. Then you guys kept talking. Like even when we first saw the scene, the girls like freaking out. You guys like, oh, what is he doing? I'm like, huh. So y'all
You
talking a
took
lot
like
more in
eighth
this
grade,
film.
I think.
I don't know.
Thank you.
It felt cheesy to
A
me.
little bit, but it wasn't like
Like
as
literally
much.
the vibes that I got when the movie started, I was like, oh, this is gonna be cheesy as hell. Literally just the beginning, like the first minute,
Mm.
I was like,
Yeah,
this movie's gonna be cheesy as hell.
Was it her red heels? Was it the
It
red heels?
honestly kind of was. I
I
was
Yeah.
saw
really distracted by those.
I saw the director talk about it and how that was it is cheesy, but specifically the vibe he was going for more was like kind of an homage, like Nathaniel was saying.
The
Like,
slashers, the chase.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I guess that is what cheese is. It's like either like
Yeah,
cheese is like the negative like connotation of like nostalgia. So like it's either oh
Or something
that's
that's
like
cliche.
Halloween,
yeah.
but like oh that's like every horror slasher flick. Um,
Yeah.
but
I think that's also the problem is that I don't have that nostalgia for slashers
I was gonna say
at
that. Yeah,
all. I have
I was gonna say that.
never Nathaniel knows I've never watched a slasher, one of those old school slashers in my
Disappointing.
life.
Disappointing. Very.
I've never seen a Freddy movie. I've never seen a Jason movie. I've never seen Halloween. I've never seen any of those. So I don't have
What
that
about Jaws?
I've seen Jaws, but I don't count that. It doesn't have the same vibe to me.
It's not a
It
slasher.
had the
It's
same
not a
opening
slasher.
sequence.
It's not
like
the
a
same.
thriller, but not a
It's
Yeah.
a
slasher.
monster
It's
movie.
a thriller, but it's not a, yeah, it's a monster movie, but it's not the same. Jaws is
A
not the same
thriller?
to me.
I'd argue suspense, but that's another day. That's another
I'm just
podcast.
saying. I'm just saying it has the like Jaws is a different vibe. And those old school slashers, I don't have nostalgia for them. I didn't watch them as a kid. I haven't seen any of them these days. So to me, I don't get that nostalgia or that like oh my, I don't get that. I don't get that shit because I never watched that. So to
Hmm.
And
me, it's just cheesy. You know what I mean? It's just oh this is like it's different if I'm watching one of those old school movies because I can put myself in the time
Yeah.
zone, right? I'm like, okay, I'm watching a movie in the 80s. This is fresh. This is new, right? But for It Follows came out in 2015. I'm like, okay, this is 2015. Let me put myself in the mindset of 2015. This is cheesy. You know what I mean? This isn't like if it's an
Yeah.
homage, that's fine, but the homage isn't gonna hit me because I didn't watch those old movies. You know what I mean? And so like I don't know, like putting myself in 2014, I'm like, no, this is cheesy. This isn't like if you're going for nostalgia, nostalgia is only gonna hit people who have nostalgia for that thing, which is why Nathaniel enjoyed it. Nathaniel used to watch slashers all the fucking time. I never did, you know? So I don't know, like that. I think that's why it's because I got those vibes. I got those. Oh, this is a cheesy, low budget movie. This isn't something that's gonna be serious. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like it's gonna try and
Yeah.
make itself seem serious, but I'm not gonna buy it because of the way it's made. And I'm not. That's that. Therefore, if that's what he was going for, that makes that a problem with me and not with the movie. Which simply means that from the beginning, I was set up to not enjoy this movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's
No,
simply
I get
because
that.
I have a different experience. That's so yeah, so I don't know there. Like the movie therefore is not bad. I did not enjoy it because of my experiences, not because I didn't get what he was going for and I couldn't have gotten what he was going for unless I was this specific person. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah, and for
Yeah.
me, I have seen like those slasher movies, but I don't really like them. And I've only seen them, and I literally saw all those movies in the context of hanging out with people at like a party with the Freddy movies and the Jason movies. So I only watch these movies when I'm riffing with other people. I don't like them when I'm just chilling on my own. So I was already biased from the start as well.
Mhm. Yeah. So I mean, I'm the last one to really need to defend themselves for riffing on the movie during the movie. The big thing for me is definitely the way it opened. I understand it was supposed to be an homage to older like horror movies. But again, so the way it opened, obviously, it did the same thing where it's like you introduce a character that isn't really important. You're introducing more the monster and the concept behind the monster. In Jaws, it was the girl swimming, got eaten by the shark. In Halloween, it was just people getting murdered, right? Stuff like that. I don't know. I need to go back and rewatch the old Halloween. I haven't seen it since I was young. The
Oh
new one's
shit.
good though. Just like stuff in general. When it comes to slashers, Friday the 13th, it's people getting killed out by the lake, stuff like that. Counselors and whatnot. This movie did the same thing. I guess you could say the structure of the story and the way it's built is in the same fashion as those old movies. You know, introduction to the monster. You find out what the monster is, or like uh, you introduce the main character and their kind of association with the monster. It goes through probably to a point where they try to kill the monster or try to go up and go against the monster to the ending. And this one's obviously more open ended. It's like, oh, is that the monster behind them? Is somebody walking behind them? Are they going to die? They're both on the hit list now. Is the monster really dead because it got electrocuted in the pool and there was a ton of blood? So much blood that, just like all these questions, this one left a lot more open ended. I mean, obviously, the original Halloween opened pretty open ended with Jason just disappearing after getting shot a bunch. Or
Michael.
Jason? Oh God,
What?
Michael. Yeah.
Oh,
What? No,
We're
sorry.
talking
no,
about Michael Myers.
That's my
Michael
name.
Myers. I said Jason. Jesus. Oh God.
Hmm.
Yeah, no. With Michael just disappearing after getting shot off and falling off balcony. Spoilers. To an old movie. But for this one, I when they introduced main character, she's calling, she's crying. I already went into this movie knowing how the monster acts. It walks at you pretty slowly, so I was kind of spoiled for that. But she pulls up. She drives away. She obviously gets away from the monster. But instead of trying to like hoof it and get it on her own, she just goes to a beach and then calls her parents and like whatever. Why didn't she call her parents while she was in the car and like apologize? Instead, she just waited to die. And I'm like, that is a stupid thing to do. That is a stupid character. I don't feel like any of the other characters were really looking to just flounder and then just get killed on a beach side. All the other ones like tried to fight back, or maybe they got caught off guard, stuff like that. Like the girl in Jaws, she just straight up got eaten and killed. She wasn't like, oh, I'll just sit out here and wait for the shark that I know is coming to eat me. I thought that was a really dumb character decision. I thought it right there made me feel like the character writing in the entire movie was going to be trash. And I mean, after the movie, I definitely think that the writing was trash when it comes to the characters. I already talked about that earlier. And so that kind of, I don't think the opening scene was necessary. I think they could have cut that out. They definitely, what I believe should have been done to make me more invested, or maybe make Michael or Jose or somebody else people who weren't invested more invested, is just introduce it as her. She just needs to figure it out. Cut out the whole beginning sequence. I understand it's an homage, but I got literally nothing out of it, and I feel like that's what really turned me off towards even the rest of the movie. Which is why I started like bashing it. The biggest thing that I got out of that was, oh, why was her leg just like straight up like bent backwards? And you figure out later it's because the monster kills you by having sex with you, right? I thought that was super cool, like kind of being like, oh, okay, why didn't just kill her? Why did it lift up her hair? And why was there a struggle? Why didn't it just like snap her neck? I thought maybe when it touches you, you die. You know, why was her leg bent up backwards? That was the kind of the draw I had towards like how the monster behaves. And that was obviously that was answered later. That's why I thought the monster was cool. I hated all the
That,
main characters.
that's exactly why like the scene like the thing that like works about the introductory scene is like you see the girl in terror and then you see her die. But like you don't see the like in between of it. You have no idea what happened. Like literally
Yeah.
it's just like a mangled corpse. You're like horrified, but then it's like wait a minute, like A, these are the stakes, and like B, like you don't know like how we get there. So like that's what the rest of the movie is how we get there and like what this is like what
Hmm.
that entails.
Yeah. Like I said, I was on the monsters team this whole time. I like the monster. I think the monster is really cool. I love the concept behind the monster. I love the idea of like it challenging and saying, "Hey, AIDS, STDs, all these other things." I just think the entire main cast, okay, minus Paul. Paul was, he was pretty
He
cliche,
was
but I thought he was
okay.
cool. I didn't like Greg much. I thought he was like basic douche canoe, whatever. I thought it was cool that they didn't really introduce his backstory. Because like, okay, he's the bad boy kid. We know he has a shit family. That's just how it's gonna be. That's how it's written to be, and you never really see anything else. Maybe I tuned out for it, but I never heard anything about his backstory or how everything was with him. So I thought that was pretty cool.
I
Who are
think
you
it
talking
was
But
about? Are you talking about Greg?
Greg, yeah, I don't remember hearing a
They
backstory for him.
talked about how there was like the shit with the way that they looked at each other, and then she also said that she had sex with him in high school and
In high
shit.
school, but that was after the fact. That was after the
No, that
fact.
was
I'm
after he
talking about like,
died. Yeah, and then he had like
yeah.
said earlier, "I should have been better to you," implying that they had like dated before and everything.
they
Okay,
also
yeah.
use the shot of him like in the mall with like surrounded by girls. A, I think as to like give like the implication. Okay, so like there's two times where I think that characters have sex, but like they don't really talk about it. There's that one which like Greg is like in the mall surrounded by girls, and he like leans in close to one. It's like okay, he's a womanizer, like he's in his element, like this is what he does.
The
But
other
like
one was when
also
she swam out to
he
the
might have had
boat.
sex with. Yeah, and then the other one
Yeah.
is that time. It's like a desperation, like I see men, I want to get this away from me, like please. But like if it happened, it didn't work.
Well, I mean, they
Um,
probably.
yeah,
My guess is that they got killed and she just didn't want to admit it, or she went there, hung out with them, and then left. And then, I thought it was hilarious, by the way, when she looked up at the top of her house and there's just a naked dude up there, and I was like,
I think
nice.
that's another place where like I really don't like. There's no reason for that other than like, oh,
Oh,
it's
there
still
isn't.
after you.
It's
But it's like
it's
it's
not gonna.
why
What
is it
is it
on the
gonna go to the
house?
roof?
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
There, there's
I thought it was kind of wacky in that fashion. Like it
yeah.
knocked on the door, and I was just like, okay, I understand. Like if someone answers a door in the middle of the night, but like why wouldn't you just like
I mean,
try the door and try to open, go inside or something? You know?
yeah, even if it like
That
went over the house like together to like surprise her, like that would be more believable than him just standing there
yeah.
looking at her.
Why was
Like
it on the roof?
it
Yeah.
does that's a weird thing too.
I think it was more shock. Like they did that
Sure.
again, or they did it earlier. Like throughout the whole movie, the monster is like numb, right? Like there's no emotion,
Hmm.
there's
It
no.
didn't talk or anything. Yeah.
But like in the scene when the little boy jumped from the thing, like the little boy like screamed at her, and I'm like, eh. And then like, and every time the monster got close, the monster never screamed. So why'd you scream at
Yeah,
this moment? I was like,
yeah,
I feel like that's more just for like, boo, get the
yeah.
audience, because the monster's a
Yeah,
numb
that was definitely, yeah. It
creature.
was like a deformed.
And
Well, really skinny child, not
and
deformed.
for
It
the
looked like the
beginning,
neighbor to me.
in my viewpoint, at the beginning, I enjoyed it because not just as an homage, but it's also like it's like many people are different. So you can say maybe she didn't fight back because maybe the person before didn't tell her, or maybe she's different. She's a different type of person. She just gave up. But one thing I liked in the beginning was in a way, the beginning is the end. In a sense of
Hmm.
you have two choices when this thing's on you. You can fight or you can give up. In the beginning, already sets you up with you can give up like this girl, or you like this lady, or you can fight. So in a way, I was like, okay, it's like you can reverse this any way. It could have been, the main character could have been in that situation. but instead she got her friends and they decided to fight back on this monster. So I thought it was pretty interesting.
Like the
Huh.
cyclical nature of sexually transmitted disease.
Yeah.
Huh?
Or I just found it interesting, like how you can, like in the beginning of the movie, kind of like her, she's died, she's dead. That's one option. Or yeah, you can transmit
I
it. Or
just
maybe they beat the monster. It's up to your opinion. Did they beat the monster, or was that the monster behind them walking? Who knows? Huh?
yeah. I
Anybody?
just I feel like the main character really. I think
Why?
It's like in your head,
I
you're like,
love
"You're the monster in the end." I forgot.
I do love the open-ended ness of the movie. Like, oh, what does this mean? Like the symbolism stuff. I understand that's there, and that was actually something that also caught me, Steven. I didn't speak earlier on it, but when the pool was broken, I was just like, oh, okay, that's when I caught it. I was like, the pool's a metaphor. First scene with her being in the pool, and it's like I kind of saw the pool as more like her mental mentality or like
Mm.
her life, I
Mm.
would say, because she's floating in the pool. That's like representative of her life. When everything starts to go to shit, the pool's like nasty, and then by the end, when she's like in someone else's house and like breaking whatever, I know, Michael. This is how I saw it. Okay, I know you didn't catch on the symbolism, but like the pool was broken at the end. That's when I was like, oh, okay, it's symbolizing something. I wasn't really paying attention to it, so I just assumed it was like, okay, it's her life, it's her like mentality towards life and everything. It's just going to shit now. But again, I couldn't get past that. She was given everything at the beginning. The guy even said, "You may think there's more than one. There's not. There's only one. You've only got to worry about the one." And then she was like, "Oh, okay. I saw this thing coming after me. It's terrifying. It's going to continue to chase me. Uh, maybe shock, maybe disbelief. Who knows? It doesn't matter." Yeah, go ahead, Michael. Go ahead.
Do you want to know what I thought when I saw the pool?
Hmm.
When I saw the pool, my first
Oh
thought,
Lord.
who the fuck broke that pool? Why did that happen? Who broke it?
Dude, it's
That's
the
a lot
monster.
of
The
money.
monster
Pools
wanted
are
to take the pool.
expensive.
I had two thoughts
I
actually.
was like,
About that.
bro. So that happened, and then I was like, I saw the broken pool. First thought, who broke that? That's fucked up. Second thought, oh, they was probably supposed to represent something that I didn't care about. Those were my two thoughts. Again, I'm not trying to be mean. I just
Can
really
I add on
didn't
that?
care. Yeah.
I have
Jose had his
three
hand
I
up
had.
thoughts.
first.
Oh, hey, hold on. If I could add on that, I had a thought of first of all, the monster has got an arm.
No,
Pinpoint
facts.
accuracy.
Dude,
Oh yeah, no, he was.
one armed at TV and almost hit her. That was crazy.
And then the other thought I had was like, dude, like they're plugging all these things up. How bad would it be if someone's like, time to clean the pool? What are you kids doing here? And tripped in the water like with the TV plugged up. Like
Yeah.
that would have been.
Uh,
How would you
I
explain
was
that?
wondering how was that an abandoned school? How did they get all that shit in there, you know?
They probably found it around the school. I wasn't too
Um,
worried about
No,
that.
no,
I
because
was
they had all the
at
shit
that point.
beforehand. They didn't find it in the school because they had the bags when they were
Oh yeah,
walking before and
they
climbed the
talked
true.
fence.
Yeah,
they
I forgot
talked
about
about
that.
how like that was the first place they kissed and that's like where they had their first beer. I think it was
No, yeah,
because like they
yeah,
knew how to break into it. Like I think it was still functioning, but
yeah,
like they could
Oh yeah,
break in,
they
they knew
mentioned that
how.
earlier.
Yeah.
I'm
Jose, you
done.
had three
I
things.
uh, I was just
Jose had
super
three
happy.
things.
Yeah, Jose, three thing.
No, Michael just had one
Okay.
finger up, and then Nathaniel got two fingers up, and I have three fingers
God
up.
dang it. Never mind.
That's
Sorry.
Nice.
good.
yeah. That's
Good.
called
Let's
I
see you
don't
guys
know.
get it.
symbolism. You wouldn't get it,
I
Steven.
don't know. I think maybe I didn't notice like as much with the pool. I wasn't worried about how they got in or like the physics behind it. So first off, also I'll get back to the bullets in the water because that's
Oh
not
no.
possible for bullets, like physics. But I'll hit you with the physics in a second.
I don't want to
But
hear about
I
the
was
physics.
actually so seeing that pool scene and everything. I was
I
just
don't want
super
to hear about
ecstatic
the
that they were
physics.
actually trying to do something for the first time the entire movie. I just didn't really care about how they got into the school. Um,
The
yeah,
first
That was like
time.
the
but
only thing I did care about.
but also those bullets can only go like 2 or 3 feet in the water, and by the time it gets to you, it's not going to cause a ton of damage. I mean, you could argue, oh, it's a bigger caliber, it's a revolver, but no, revolvers only go 2 or 3 feet in water. Water's density is insane compared to air. And so the fact that it went like 5 or 6 feet, like when he fired, I watched the bullets go through. And I was just like, first thing he pulled up the thing, I was like, they're underwater. Someone's gonna have to jump in. Someone's gonna have to jump in and point blank his butt, right? Um, and it didn't happen. Instead, they just fired, and I was just like, "That's not gonna work." And then saw the bullets go through, and I was like, "Oh, they didn't care about the physics here. They didn't
Yeah,
care." So yeah,
the
because
monster made the gun. It was on the monster's initials were on the handle. You just didn't see it. It was a close up.
uh,
It wasn't.
oh, okay, okay, yeah, my bad.
It was
But
a magic gun
IT
by the
it
monster.
was
no,
on the
Huh?
they were
revolver.
like they were a couple of feet under the water, and those bullets went straight through the screen. I was just like, mm-mm, no.
Yeah, STD was on the handle, so it's the monster gun.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
They gave
But
a
it hit him in
gonorrhea.
the head. It killed him.
yeah.
She got out. I really
Daddy
wish they
D.
had gotten into like the burn. Like it showed like the burn on her like foot. Was that a burn? It looked like blisters and such
It was like a
on her
Yeah,
hand.
foot.
It was like a
it's like
bruise, like a hand
yeah, it
bruise.
was like a bruise, like a squeeze or like
Okay,
crushed
it
his.
was a
Yeah,
bruise. It looked more like blisters to me.
a little bit.
So I was just like, I couldn't really tell. Um, I was more like chuckling to myself that what's her face got shot. Paul didn't even care either. He was just like, I missed.
I mean, I
Um,
would give it to Paul. In that situation, there's like a demon or monster in front of you that you gotta aim, or you're
yeah.
like, well, your glove's gonna die. So like, bleed out on the corner. I gotta
Yes,
make this
it's,
shot right.
I just thought it was funny that that actually got put in the film. I was just like, someone was gonna talk
Yeah,
about how she got shot, or like the
Mm.
doctor's gonna look at it and be like, "Oh, this girl got shot." I thought there were gonna be cops around what's his face's house after he died, and they were gonna question her
no,
about why she was in the house and has like cuts and stuff. I was like, "Oh, okay." No, nobody's doing any inspections or anything.
that's
Um,
nitpicking. That's nitpicking.
that no, that's definitely nitpicking, but I don't really care.
By the way, they're
My
making a
biggest concerns are with
sequel.
the characters.
Yeah, I saw that actually.
They're making a
Is
sequel.
it with the
Oh,
main
Yeah,
brother,
I
the
don't
that
characters?
really know why
Maybe
that's the case,
don't
but
go for it. No,
yeah, I don't think that's
no.
necessary. But
dude,
whatever.
sequelitis.
I know
I,
slashers are used to sequels, but don't go down that path. Just one movie. That's all good. Also, the cover for this film's dope.
Yeah,
I
it
love the
is the
cover.
car.
oh,
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah,
dope. Yeah,
'cause that's where it
when
was
you
born. Like
like
that's where the monster
just
was
the cover
born.
scene, I was like, yo, that's dope. You know, it was
Um.
really cool.
Yeah, I thought
Um,
the the
mm,
shot composition was really cool. There's one like in
Yeah,
front of the guy's
oh,
house when it's like abandoned.
the
She's like looking back
cinematography
at the
was really good.
neighbor, and like the kids are in the background. I like that.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
I think I'm personally biased against the cinematography though, because this one scene when it was like doing a full like U-turn in the kitchen, I got a headache from it. Like my eyes were like
Oh
cross-eyed. I
yeah.
was like, oh,
Yeah.
like. But they did a lot of really cool like dynamic shots, right? I just wish
Hmm.
the characters were as dynamic as the shots.
Hmm.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
beating a dead horse. But yeah, no,
Um.
I that was something you said earlier, Stephen, that I did like is the shots were really dynamic.
Hmm.
I thought the cinematography was on point.
I think the only other thing that I have to say is that I think that it's refreshing to see a horror movie that isn't just like
Demons.
no, what's the name of that one with the
Um,
bridge, Nathaniel?
Empty
Bridge to
man.
Like
Terabithia.
the empty man, like it's some like stupid like he's just a guy and bottles get him. It's like I don't know, it's cool
What?
to see a movie that has like a monster that like explores an idea at the very least. Whether or not it's effective, it like had a vision going in. I at
Hmm.
least appreciate the fact that it had
Yeah,
that and it wasn't just here's a demon and it wants to kill you. And the substance to this movie
yeah,
is the jump scares. It had jump scares, but like there were only like a
But also,
couple
they
and
had
it
a girl like following them, which was terrifying. Yeah.
yes, it wasn't like the like appeal of the movie wasn't scary with like jump scares. It was like no, there's like we actually have like
a
a
story.
monster with a story and like a premise that is
Yes.
like something somewhat different at the very least, which I thought
Hmm.
was refreshing and cool to see in modern horror, and it wasn't just or it
It
wasn't a remake of something before, and it wasn't like just
A
a
demon
demon
movie.
or a
Yeah.
ghost that just kills you, or like uh what's the ghost one that's
it
like
begs the
shot
question.
sure.
Sorry, that's the word I was thinking. Is like the movie itself. Sorry, I'm not trying to take
That's
this.
it.
I didn't mean to cut you off. But the movie itself begs a question. Like with the beach scene, when you see the person. Like obviously it's a slow person, so we know that. But it's all about the character's awareness. And suspense is created when the audience knows something that the people in the thing do not, or like a situation where it's unknown inside I guess the realm of the movie. And in that scene, like where the monster was walking up behind her, and we're like, oh no, or like the scene when she's like, yo, is that a whatever? And it's just like, I mean, chances are it's not, but what if it was? And then suddenly all the friends believe him. right? It's just like, oh, okay, Greg believes what's everybody in the squad's like, because now there's two maniac people calling out like there's this like monster here, and so then it was like that. It definitely, I think it begged really good questions, especially ones that modern horror, I guess, just doesn't. Um, like, how do you defeat this monster was the big question with the pool, which is why I love the pool scene.
Mhm.
Um, it's like that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I think that was actually what I was going to say. Is the premise is at least something that's like refreshing, where it's not just something want to kill you. It's like no, like
Yeah.
there are these very specific rules that are understood. Now, how would you operate in this scenario? Or like how will our characters operate in this scenario? It wasn't
Hmm.
just don't die, have fun, bye bye, and then
Yeah.
like
Goodbye.
30 jump
Yeah,
scares later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
I can admit the premise was at least interesting. I just think the execution, in my opinion, was poor.
Mhm.
But I
I
can
think
admit
the
that the
characters
premise
really
was. I
destroyed
can
it for me.
admit that the premise was interesting.
Always heard when monsters represent something that makes them like monsters even better. That
Hmm.
whole idea. You
Yeah,
gotta have
Yeah.
something that, symbolism's
I
perfect
do
with a monster.
prefer that when the. I do prefer that when what monsters represent is more subtle, but I do still think,
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't know,
I like the monster. I
at
thought it was
least
a
it
cool idea.
represented something. I do
At least
prefer when it's more subtle, but at least it did represent something and it wasn't just like a thing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
yeah.
Like I do appreciate that. I do think the premise was good. I just think the movie itself was not, in my opinion.
Hmm.
And I think it's also, like I said before, because it's not made for people like me. It's not made to
Hmm.
be. It's not meant to be enjoyed by people like me. Because people like me aren't
Yeah.
gonna get anything out of it.
Oh,
Because like, I don't know, the message, oh, STD bad. I already know
spoiling
that.
this
I
shit.
went to fucking high school. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
um, or like, this
I
is an
mean, there
homage
were
to
other things
this.
too, like
This is an homage to
how
old school slashers. I didn't watch old school slash. Like, it's literally like nothing about the movie is like for me as a person. You know what I mean? So I think I was set
Yeah.
up from the
Spoiling this
beginning
shit.
to not really care about this movie. You know?
Hmm.
So I don't think that's a fault of the movie. I think that's simply due to the kind of person that I am. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
I think the fault of the movie was that the characters were flat. I think
I
Fair.
agree with
if the
that.
characters
I
had
agree that the
been more
characters
dynamic,
were,
I actually,
yeah.
Mm.
I think that's the
yeah.
biggest problem.
Um,
Well,
Mm.
yeah,
I
that's
think
kind
that's
of
the
the
problem
thing
with
is
the
that
movie
like the
going
movie
Yeah.
forward.
wasn't meant for me, really. But like if the characters were interesting, I would have liked it. I just think like the one thing I will say, because I don't want to say the movie's bad, because I don't think the movie's bad. I think it's literally just that I am not the kind of person that would enjoy this movie. The only thing I will say is bad is I think the characters are legitimately bad. I think the characters are
No, the characters are bad.
legitimately poor. But that's like other
Like,
than that, I'm not gonna say the movie's bad because I actually do think it was shot very well. I actually liked a lot of the camera angles. I thought that a lot of them were very good. You know, and symbolism, sure, I assume it was there. I just didn't care. So
yeah.
you know,
To me, this movie is like there's different things that make or break a movie, and I think the characters for me absolutely broke the movie. I think you can find good things in bad products, but at the end of the day, I watched this movie and I did not like the movie simply because one of the fundamental things that are required in a story was absolutely lacking in my like not professional, my amateur opinion.
in my very
Um,
professional opinion.
in my very as you guys know, I am the professional. I think the movie was broken because of the lack of characters. I think you can find good things, and I understand how people can still like it. It's not a terrible movie. It's not just like a dog shit movie.
Hmm.
It's just it
It's not like there
broke
was
it for me.
nothing there.
There were still good things in there, yeah.
Mm,
Um, but I was not willing to look past the bad characters. So yeah, that's me.
I got you.
If anybody else wants to go, or we could roll from for
I
the next
guess
movie.
I think
But
Michael, you should definitely pull up the next movie roll thing.
I
You should
already
do
have it.
that.
I have it ready already.
Oh, perfect. Well, the last thing I was gonna say is I think that if you like were really interested in the scenario in that aspect, then I guess then you would probably enjoy the movie. But then
Yeah.
if you needed to be drawn into the movie and that didn't buy you in enough, or like you weren't like there for that, you were there for like an actual story, then like the characters aren't going to give you that because they don't rely on the characters. They rely on like the scenario and the shots and the music because those are like its strong suits. It doesn't rely on the characters because, like you said, they are like lacking. Um, so if
Yeah.
yeah, like if none of those things that like it does strongly pulls you in, then no, you're not gonna like the movie or probably anything in it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But that being said, if you do like the movie, I don't think it's a bad thing.
No,
I
yeah.
don't.
I, I,
Yeah.
I
I
think it
like
just
like
what
I said. That's why I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I don't think it's a bad movie. I think I simply didn't like it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
I think it's a bad movie, but that's
And
created by bad characters, not anything else.
as a person who likes the movie, I wouldn't say that it's like a marvel of modern cinema or like the best horror movie in the last 10 years.
Hmm.
I
I
think
just think that it's something refreshing that isn't just like lazy, terrible like movie. Like there was thought put into it. The execution wasn't perfect, but like there are like good aspects to it that are like I don't know, well thought out and put together,
Yeah.
yeah.
which is
I
more you
think
can say about modern horror or most movies.
maybe I'm more upset. Sorry,
Go ahead. I'm
I
done.
agree. It is something you can say. It it has much more than modern horror. I agree with that.
It's a story.
This yeah. I think one thing that maybe I'm going off on this movie too harsh and saying it is a bad movie. Simply due to the characters because I looked at the Rotten Tomato score and I got a 95 and I'm like, dog, all these other movies that have good characters, good character development, and a great story get lower than that. But this one gets a 95 and it has dog shit characters.
I
Like
don't think
very flat characters.
so.
I don't understand
I also
how
think that's a.
these
I also
movie
think
critics could do it.
though you should not. Okay, so I don't know where you've been, but Rotten Tomatoes means no one gives two shits about
Never
Rotten
looked at
Tomatoes
it.
scores because they are irrelevant. Don't ever look at a Rotten Tomatoes score. Look somewhere else. Metacritic is more trustworthy. IMDb are more trustworthy. Do not look at Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes is a fucking waste of time.
No,
Never,
I get
never
that.
look at
It's
Rotten
just that
Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes and everybody else. Well, I mean, also you've got to remember that Rotten Tomatoes, the way they pull their scores is through different professionals, right? Which means that 95% of the professionals they put the you can't see me air quoting,
I can't see you air
but the
quoting.
professionals, quote unquote, that they're pulling said they liked it, which means that these professionals, it just there are people out there who pride themselves on character or like understanding a story and they voted this to be better than it is because
Also,
characters that make up a whole portion of a story just
well,
aren't there in this story.
also if you actually looked into it, audience scores only gave it a 66.
Yeah, that
So the
sounds about right.
tomato meter, which is the score that no one cares about, gave it 95. The audience score is 66. So I
Yeah,
don't.
and
I
I guess
usually
for
look
the
more. I
professionals,
usually look more so at that because critics. Who the fuck are critics? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know who the fuck that is. And like, I don't know. Most of the time,
journalists,
there's always a huge
people
disconnect
in the
between
industry.
audiences and like critics. We can talk about this is a discussion for another time. But basically, like, there's a huge disconnect between the general viewing audience and critics, and that's why critic scores and audience scores are usually so fucking different, which is why, as a normal person and not as a movie critic, I don't care about the critic's score because their score tends to be completely different from the general viewing audience. That's why I look at
Yeah,
audience scores. Critic scores to me don't matter. I don't know who those people are. Their scores are meant for other critics. Honestly, they probably don't even know what the fuck they're talking about because I feel like most of the time they don't.
I tend to actually
Like,
align with the critics, and I think the only reason it's a 95 they're viewing it through the lens of actual low expectations. It's entertaining. It's fine enough. Positive.
mm.
hmm. Yeah,
I
and I guess
I don't
for a
know.
good
I've seen
critic, it is
sites that
like
are
a
saying that
it's
this
either good or
movie is
bad.
like one of the best modern horror movies.
I would not agree with that. Well,
Mm.
I guess I would because modern horror movies aren't very good, but that doesn't make it like a
I don't know what they're saying.
like I would give it like a 6 out of 10, like or
Yeah,
like a
and
seven
that
out
and
of ten. Like
that's
it is
what it
above
generally
average.
has. Yeah,
Yeah, but it's like not like incredible.
yeah. Like
I think the new Halloween
IMDb
movie
gives
was a
it a
lot
six
better
point.
than this.
IMDb gave it a 6.8. The audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is like a 66. Like, I don't know. I
But
usually
wait,
look
is
at
it again?
those
Again,
because what?
but again, wasn't the critics thing in Rotten Tomatoes that if the review is positive, like
Then
the
it's that
95 means 95% of critics were positive about it, so they could
yes.
still be like it's a 6.
Yeah, they could still say it was
Critics
a
is
Mm,
six,
included.
but a six is still positive. That's why
Yeah.
I say
So that's
don't
why I
look at
think it's
Rotten Tomatoes
inflated.
because it's not actually accurate. They go on a
Yeah.
they go on a like dislike ratio. They don't go on a
Yeah.
rating
Yeah.
score.
You gotta go to Metacritic.
Okay.
For sure.
So in that case,
It's good.
then you're telling me that on the okay, actually,
A
this is a discussion for a
six.
different day. Yeah,
Okay.
let's.
Yeah,
Simply
like that will
put,
be kind
end
of a
this right
topic.
here. It like Steven said it. He gave it like a six. If you, as a critic, give it a six on a 10
Then
point
it's
scale,
positive. Yeah, I
six
get
is
that.
positive. That means you get a like on Rotten Tomatoes.
But
That's
then
why you
that
don't
that has
look
me
at Rotten Tomatoes
questioning.
scores because most people probably gave it
Yeah.
about a six.
I got really
That
greased up in
makes
the
it a
chair.
95. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So that's why you don't look at that shit.
That has me questioning the, uh, I guess, the reliability of these critics
Dude,
because on other movies it's like lower, which means a lot, like a bigger portion of the critics didn't like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
hon-
Um.
honestly, any kind of rating system, I like.
I
It's
think
like
rating systems in
it's
It's gonna
general
be
are
flawed.
fucking dumb.
it's kind of flawed, like inherent. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't really like the only thing that I give like value to as far as like criticism is like one person's opinion and their explanation, because like
Yeah.
that I can either agree with or disagree with or whatever. But, like if I look at
You
like an
don't have to run
average
numbers.
of, yeah, if I give someone
Yeah.
like an average of like everybody who did it, like that doesn't like mean anything. But if
Doesn't
I
mean
watch you
anything.
sit down and
Yeah.
explain the good and bad points, and I can like understand it or critique it or be like, you know what, you're right actually, or like it like means more than 6 out of 10, 95%. like
Yeah.
like
They
But
gotta.
whatever.
first, why don't
I.
you go out
I.
and give it a try yourself and
Yeah.
see
That's
what you
true.
think?
Yeah.
That's true.
That's why I always say like I don't look at reviews because I don't care how other people felt about a thing because other people's opinions about a
Aren't
certain
yours.
thing don't matter because they're not mine. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
Oh.
that literally the easiest way to say it. That's why you shouldn't look at review scores. Like if you have a friend that played a game, ask your friend because you trust your friend. Don't look at some random fucking dude who doesn't even know you and probably doesn't even like the same shit as you. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's why
Like
it's called a trusted source.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like arbitrary numbers don't even fucking do anything either. What the fuck is what's an 8 out of 10? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different
We
things
should
to different
probably
people.
Cause,
roll for
cause
movies.
also people judge their scales differently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like for some people, a 6 out of 10 is bad.
Mhm.
That's not good. Even though that's higher on the scale, that's above a 5, that's above the halfway point. A lot of people think 6 out of 10 is bad. Like I have a friend who we use my anime list to keep track of our animes, and he looks at if he sees an anime and it's lower than a 7, he won't watch it. Cause that's just
Hmm.
kind of like that's what I'm saying. Like everyone's scale of quality is different. That's why you gotta look at shit yourself. You know what I mean?
Sure. Don't be a
Yeah.
sheep.
Yeah, don't be a fucking sheep, you fucking sheep.
And I think with that,
Talking to you.
Now, with that being said,
we can roll the
We
movie.
should roll.
yeah.
We should roll
Yeah,
Let's
alright, let's
roll
roll movie.
movie. All right. So I have the generator all up here. I'll click it so
Cool.
people can see. Also, I'm gonna make it smaller so they can still see my face.
Take it to the elite. Don't be a sheep.
Don't be a sheep.
Let's roll the movie.
I can say, hey, this is our podcast. I can say what I want, dog.
You know what's
Hell
funny
yeah.
is we literally just talked about our. I guess that's what is what we were saying. It's like, okay, here's all of our opinions. Now, don't listen to anybody else's opinion, guys. Come on,
Well, that's kind
what
of
are
what
you
I'm
doing?
saying though. Like
That's
okay, so this podcast is meant for like watching it after you've seen the movie because it's a fucking movie podcast. We're gonna spoil the whole thing. But if you haven't seen the movie yet and for some reason you're watching this,
You're
then
stupid.
watch.
Oh,
No,
stupid.
not. Shut up, Brian. Don't fucking talk about our audience like that. God,
Brian, get the fuck out of here,
get the
Brian.
fuck out of here. Shut up.
toxic. Toxic.
Anyway,
Let us be your friends.
literally
And
no,
welcome.
but literally what I'm saying is that like at the same time, you might not know us. You're learning our movie taste as you're watching our podcast, you know? And like still, even if like some of us didn't like a movie, some of us did, like watch it for yourself and make your own opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cuz like in the
Yeah.
end, what's more important? My opinion, a dude you don't know on a movie that you haven't seen or your opinion on a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like your opinion is more important to you. My opinion should not be more important to you than your own opinion. That's what I'm saying. Because
The thing is,
I think that's an ish. You know what I
And don't
mean?
be afraid to come
this is
back and talk to us. We're here.
Yeah, that's what the
this
comment
isn't a
section's
rebuttal.
for. Don't
This
rebuttal
isn't
my
a
ass.
rebuttal,
No, rebuttal him.
but
Drama.
I
Drama.
used to watch like a game critic on YouTube called Total Biscuit,
I love
and
that guy.
I
the
know who he
funny
He
is.
thing, yeah, the thing he always said was that the useful thing about, I don't know if this might have been repeated by other people too, but the useful thing about critics is that you can read their review, but you don't need to take it at face value, so you can hear what they say and just be like, oh, I don't agree with that, so
Yeah.
that wouldn't bother me.
Well, that's kind of
Like
what I'm saying.
if
Is like a lot. I feel like a lot of people
yeah,
take it as gospel. Don't take it as gospel. Make your own opinion.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
That's what
like
Don't
Jeremy
feel
Michael
Johnson
said,
shame.
I don't like this movie or yeah, this movie didn't hit me because I don't care about slasher movies. If you do, then just be like, all right,
Yeah. Then
so
ignore my opinion.
forget
My
that
opinion
point.
doesn't. Yeah. Like I come from the point of like I didn't watch slasher movies as a kid. I haven't seen a lot of the old ones. So like, don't take. If you have seen a lot of slashers, then don't take my opinion, because I'm not the slasher guy. Look more so at Nathaniel. Nathaniel loves slashers, and he liked this movie.
Sure.
That's why we have these five people. We're all very varied in our opinions. That's why we're there.
Very,
That's why
very,
we're all
very.
here. Shut up.
All right, roll
Anyway,
movie,
can
roll
I?
movie.
Should I roll
Roll
movie now?
movie.
All right,
Movie.
ready? 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 Ready?
Yes. Yes.
2 girls. One cup.
Terminator 1/2.
Wait, a double feature?
No, no, no. So this means,
That's his pick.
this means,
You're watching the first
are we
one.
watching one? Are we watching two? Do we watch the first movie first and then watch a
Dog,
second?
we have to watch
That's
the first movie.
I.
Wait, no, we don't, because I did.
See,
I did. Well, actually, maybe if it's a birthday
Mhm.
movie, it's different. Because I was like, yo, we're watching Shadow. Like, we're watching the second one, not the first one.
That's what I'm saying. Do we want to skip
So,
the first movie, watch the second one? Do we want to watch the first one and
Oh,
then the second one?
well,
I mean,
Honestly,
that's
But
that's
again,
the thing.
but remember, if we watch if we watch one of the movies, then it stays on the list and we have to roll for the movie again. We
Yeah.
don't
So
want
which one do
that.
you guys
This
want to do
doesn't
first?
mean that this next week we're watching one, the week after we're watching two. This means we're watching one of the movies next week and then we're random choicing again. I just wanted to
Terminator.
clarify.
Personally, for me, I grew up with the second one first, and I feel like a lot
Me
of
too.
people have it. It really doesn't take away from the first. You can watch the
I
second one by
I
itself.
agree. I think the second one can be totally enjoyed by itself, and
Yeah.
I don't think the first movie is necessary. I also think the second movie's better in
Yeah.
almost
oh no, it
every
is.
way.
It is better.
One of the best movies ever
So
made. Yeah.
that's
Sure.
why
Never
I'm
seen like.
like I'm kind of leaning towards just watching two and not watching the first one,
I watched the second one.
if at all. Like if we do watch the first one at some point, that's fine, but we don't have to watch it. I
We can make a vote.
personally would prefer to just watch the
Hang on.
second
Wait.
one.
I think what
So
we
I'm
should do
guessing yes
first.
for Terminator,
No,
because
what
it
we
seems
should
like
do
we're
first is we should vote yes or no on the Terminator 1 or 2, and then we
Oh,
should vote
yeah, huh?
which one we want to do. I think.
Let's
Is that
do
based
what
on
you
I say yes.
conversation.
I say we
Yes.
should
Yeah.
watch Terminator.
That's three
Yes.
yeses, easy.
Yes.
4 yeses, easy.
Easy,
5 yeses,
easy,
easy. This is the
easy.
first time in a long time we've all agreed on a movie, I think, by the
Yeah.
way.
That was not
Yeah.
hard
That's,
I,
at
that's
I
what I
all.
was
heard
trying
I
to
heard you
avoid
roll that, and I
horror.
was like, oh, this is gonna be all
Instant.
across the board.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yep.
I saw
Yeah.
Terminator, I'm like, this is an instant yes. I don't even gotta think
Now,
about this.
Yep.
second one or first one, that's the thing.
You know what? Let's see how easy it is to watch each movie
That's
first.
a really
True.
important
That's a very
factor.
important thing. So it says that the first one is free on YouTube,
Okay.
apparently.
Okay.
Really?
And then
With
Terminator
ads?
2, it's probably with ads. Terminator
Yeah, it's with
2
ads.
is on Hulu. I have
It
a
is with ads. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I
watched
freaked out on
So
the
YouTube.
original Ghost
both
in the
easy.
Shell.
I remember.
I have a
If you
Hulu
have YouTube
subscription.
Red, it's without ads. But yeah, I
Bro,
recently
the
watched
redhead, I
Or
Ghost
if
in
you
the
have an
Shell.
ad block, but we're not talking about that.
Oh,
Oh,
Get
I
NordVPN. No.
Again,
Okay.
NordVPN. I don't think
Oh my
NordVPN's
god.
NordVPN is a VPN. It's not an ad block. I don't think there's ad block on Nord.
Use code ZOOP at checkout.
Zoop?
Oh,
Why Zoop?
Zoop?
Zay and Bloop. Zoop.
Oh,
We,
Zabloop.
we can't fit Zabloop in.
Anyway,
We could,
um,
could it,
so
Probably
who
Bloop, yeah.
who wants to watch the first movie? Like, what do you guys think we should? Should we watch the first movie first and then watch the second one? Should we
how
just watch the
accessible are
second
they?
one?
They're
How's
both
what?
accessible.
They're both
How
really easy to
accessible are they?
watch. We could watch either
Wait,
if
They're
you
they're
prefer.
both they're both accessible. The second movie's on
Oh.
Hulu. The first movie's on YouTube.
Wait, hold on. Hulu, like the Prime one?
I
Or what are we
have
talking?
YouTube Premium,
We can watch it. We could watch
or not
both of them.
YouTube. Sorry, Hulu. I have Hulu
Okay,
Premium.
okay, so it doesn't matter. Okay, then.
I don't think it matters. Let me actually make sure, though,
I was
because
gonna
it
say
might be
sometimes
with an
Hulu did a
add-on.
thing with
Yeah, it
like
might be like an
HBO or something
HBO
stupid.
thing or whatever. Let me
Oh,
look.
if it's HBO, then I could watch it.
Oh, you have HBO?
Yes.
nice. Let me borrow it.
No.
You
want to
need. It says you need the Showtime add-on to watch Terminator 2.
Oh, I think we do with the student premium. In fact, yes, we definitely do.
I thought that was for. Was it for Showtime? I thought it was Stars.
Oh, is it stars?
I thought it was Stars.
Hang on. Let me go to.
I mean, I guarantee you it'll be on Amazon and we can just pay for it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, but I
Yeah,
won't
either way.
pay for it.
Because
I don't want us to
honestly,
pay
I
for it.
think.
Yeah, it is Showtime. We do get Showtime.
Oh, okay, then dope. We get
Yeah.
that. We can have Steven do it. Oh no, I have Showtime. Never mind. I have Spotify Premium. I can
So
figure. I'll figure it out. It's okay.
let's figure out, boys. What are y'all voting for? One or
I
two?
guess I'd rather watch the second one, but I've never seen the first one, so I don't really know.
Oh.
Jose, what do you want? How about let's start off 1 or 2, Jose.
I've seen both. I would say one, just because I'm the kind of person who, like, if you watch Terminator 2, I don't want to watch Terminator 1 ever. I'm just that kind of person who goes in order. I don't go back. I'm like, if we do Terminator 1, then we revisit the opportunity to like watch Terminator in the future and it be better rather than watch Terminator 2 things awesome. Be like we watch Terminator 1 later and then say, not as good as 2, but definitely interesting for its time. I'd rather do it the other way, where we know the second one's better, so we start off with the first one.
That's a good point.
That's my opinion.
That's a good point.
See, I was gonna vote. Now I don't want to anymore.
I'm like
I'm
future.
Steven, what do you feel?
I'm changing it to one. Jose convinced me. We should watch one first.
Nathaniel, Michael.
I know Jose's right, and I feel bad watching the second one, especially if Steven never seen the first one. I feel like that should be a
But
the
at the
top
same
cherry.
time, the
I'm going the
second
first.
one is so good, dude.
It really is.
It's
The second
so
one's fantastic,
I love it.
but
Is that 3 for 1?
I think that's the three for the first one. Let's
Yeah,
watch the first
I guess
one,
we're gonna watch the first one
where it
then.
all started.
Terminator 1.
I should
I
also say I've never seen either of them, so or any
the
of them.
second one's definitely better.
One of the best
Jokes on
action
you
movies.
guys.
But
I want to watch
First one's so
Terminator Dark World. That's
No,
that's
Dark
part of the
Fate.
Terminator
Dark
That
Fate.
franchise, right?
this
The-
that
On
is
DVD
why
now,
we
yeah.
specified 1 and 2. I don't want to watch
yeah,
any of the
because
other
that one's
ones.
trash.
I don't want to watch any of the other Terminators. I only want to watch 1 or 2.
Dark Fate's on DVD, boys.
It's also on Hulu. I'm still not gonna watch it.
Dude,
Come on,
Judgment Day
Nathaniel.
though. Come
Come
on.
on, sell it to us.
No,
Sell it to
Judgment
us.
no.
Day, yes.
Terminator
The
3,
best one.
boys, let's go. It's a trilogy, right?
Terminator 2
Terminator
is Judgment Day. 3 is
Yes.
Rise of the
Terminator-
Machines.
Technically, right?
It's
That's
a
right.
trilogy.
Judgment Day.
No,
Then the fourth one
Salvation.
was Salvation, and then they made Terminator. What was the one with Amelia Clark?
Genesis.
Genesis.
And then they made Dark Fate. I believe that's the order
Oh,
of the
yeah.
Terminator.
Yeah.
I forgot
Oh.
Genesis
What a
existed.
legendary
And I
story.
think Dark Fate is a reboot. Dark Fate's supposed to take place directly after the second one. They did a Halloween. They were like, no, this comes right after the second one or first one
That's
for
so
Halloween.
lame.
All right,
Interesting.
well,
Okay, well.
Anyway,
well,
Terminator 1.
I guess we're watching Terminator 1.
Well,
But yeah.
No.
So,
Get ready for impressions.
if you sat through this fucking mess, I appreciate you. Thank you for being
appreciate
You
here.
did it.
You
You're
did
a
it.
winner.
You
You're
really did
a
do it.
winner. You
Look
did
at
it.
you.
I can't believe it. You're fucking amazing. I
careful.
love you.
I love you.
Protection's important.
That's
STD
awesome.
monsters will get you if you don't. No, man.
Use condoms.
And you're not a simp.
Life
in
is
a
short.
video
Have
game.
a lot of sex.
Oh, if
Yes.
you can.
Oh.
It walks. You can
You're
drive.
not-
It
Yeah.
walks. You can
That is-
drive.
Oh, there you go.
We're good. If you can't
Anyway.
drive, you run.
Oh, don't ever shoot your friend in the leg.
That's a
Yeah,
good
don't
one.
do that.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Okay, we're getting off the rail. Bye, everybody.
Anyway,
Bye.
yeah.
Peace out.
Goodbye, everyone. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye-bye.